One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis. Today, very grateful and very humbled to be joined by Cyndi O'Meara. I met Cyndi on the weekend just gone. By the time this podcast goes up, might be a couple of weeks ago, but Cyndi and I met at the festival. I actually just going to tell people the story, Cyndi. I ran up to you sort of at the end of the festival. I had a friend just nudge me, "You need to talk to her, you need to talk to her." And ran up and yeah, we spoke for the next hour or so. So Cyndi, welcome to the platform. Just quickly before you do everything, Cyndi's the founder of the Nutrition Academy. She was the founder of Changing Habits Farm and the packing company. She does a whole heap of stuff. She's awesome. She's very outspoken as well. Cyndi, welcome to the platform. And yeah, super grateful to meet you at that festival. It was bloody awesome.
Yeah, likewise. It was lovely to meet you and all the most amazing young people that are making a difference in what's happening in the world and getting people educated so that we can drive this change. Like I started this back in the 80s, and here you are, 2025, and driving that change. I'm ready to slow down, and you guys are picking up the rein, and that's what I love to see.
Yeah, we're just chatting off air about like 30-year-olds and the younger people of today. They are out there and they are doing cool things, and it's really good to see, especially from someone that's a little bit older than me. It's like, well, us young people can take that mantle now and run with it.
Yep, definitely. My kids are in their mid 30s, and I look at their friends and themselves, and they are making waves and making changes. So I love it. I love watching it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems to be a really it's driving, and there's more and more 30-year-olds that are waking up because of people like you that have been through hell and back. And now you've gone, I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm.
That's not my life. I'm going to do something that's worthwhile. And you are. And
Mm.
congratulations to you too,
No,
Nathan.
no, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So, Cyndi, so it's about you today, obviously. This is the podcast for you. So, what got you started on your journey? What awoke you to some of the truths of the world as well? And how did you end up doing what you're doing now and impacting like thousands of lives all over the world? Like, how'd you get
It's like
started?
because I'm 65, it's a long story, but I'm going to really make it brief. And it really started with my dad. My dad was a pharmacist in New Zealand in the 1950s, and he realized that pharmacy and medications were actually not helping people, harming people. He had this one client that came in for her first medication in her 70s. And by the end of the year, she was on 6 medications. And he realized that they were just symptoms of the first medication or side effects of the first medication. So he started to become really disillusioned in the 50s. And then one day he ran into one of his clients who used to come in and get Pepto-Bismol for his indigestion. And he just said, "Oh, I haven't seen you for a while. How come you're not coming in to get your Pepto-Bismol?" And he goes, "Oh, the quack up the road helped me." He goes, "Who's the quack up the road?" And he was the local chiropractor. So my dad went and saw the quack up the road and decided he wanted to become a chiropractor back in 1956, had to fly to Davenport, Iowa, went to the original chiropractic college, and my dad he came to Australia once he graduated and was the 45th chiropractor in Australia and the 13th in Victoria. But
Wow.
what he learnt was this, the difference between looking at the body mechanistically and looking at the body vitalistically. So when we look at the body mechanistically, you go to a doctor if you've like a cardiologist if you have a heart problem. He doesn't look at your gut, he doesn't look at your nervous system, he doesn't look at your brain, he looks at your gut. He's the plumber that will fix the gut. But there's a whole bunch of other things that are happening that are connected to the nervous system, the brain, to the blood vessels, and so much more. So, vitalism is somebody comes into you with a heart problem. You don't, like, and I'm not talking about emergency here. I'm just saying maybe someone's, there's a slight heart problem. What do we do? Well, let's look at your connections. Let's look at your time in nature, your sunlight. And I notice you're wearing glasses to, reflect the blue light that's probably coming from your computer. Let's look at, do you watch sunrise? What's your food like? What is, all of these things, connections with humans, connections with everything. So instead of going, we'll just, fix this part of it, or we'll just help you there. Or if you're a gastroenterologist, we'll just look at the gut. So we look at everything and we look at the fundamentals. Are you doing the fundamentals that your evolutionary body needs in order to be the healthiest can be? So what you do is you go to your doctor, you get a diagnosis, and you're given a drug, and it's called allopathic. That means all passive. You don't have to do anything. You just go and get your drug. And then when something goes wrong, you go back to your doctor, you get a diagnosis, you get a drug. So that's all
Mm.
passive. If you go to somebody who's alternative, you still get a diagnosis, but you get an alternative treatment. And that could be a herb, a supplement, who knows, something like that. But if you're thinking vitalistically, then you go to somebody to take responsibility for your health.
Mm.
And I guess that's my dad learnt the difference. And so he brought all his children up, there were three of us, in a vitalistic manner. So he disagreed with vaccines, he disagreed with antibiotics, he disagreed with Panadols, anti-inflammatories, unless it was a life-threatening situation. So I'm 65 and I have never had a painkiller. I had an emergency situation at Christmas and I needed to take an antibiotic. That's when you take it. The doctor said to me, "You'll need it for 5 days." It was an intravenous one, 1 day, and my body healed the rest.
Huh.
It was incredible. And he was blown away by it. He just went, "I don't know anyone who's done that." So I've never taken any drugs except for that antibiotic that I had to take due to a very serious condition that happened to me due to a stupid thing I did. Um, yeah, anyway. So that's how we were brought up. My brother's in his 60s. We brought our kids up the same way. We brought the grandchildren are being brought up the same way. And like I might be n equals one, and with my children, I'm n equals four, and with my grandchildren, I'm n equals eight. And I might only be that, but then I have all these other people that are doing it around me that are in the chiropractic profession, and we're n equals a lot. So
Mm.
it's not just, oh, you're just lucky, Cyndi, which is what I've been told. You're just
Mm.
lucky that you've never taken a medication. It's not that. It's good management, and it's management by doing the fundamentals to health. So I guess, to take you back, it was my dad. So at the age of 19, I moved to America and I went to the University of Colorado and I did pre-med because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be in health. So I did a pre-med, started a pre-med degree. And for my electives, I did three subjects that changed my life forever. One was the study of words, allopathic, all
Mm.
passive. So I really got to understand where these words came from. I then did the study of stars. I learned all the constellations, the nebulas, and I just love being outside, knowing that millions and billions of years ago, those stars were facing the earth and people were around, or millions of years ago. So that really gave me a point of time and space. And the last thing I did was cultural anthropology and anthropology. And I learned what the human body needed in order to survive. And that's when I thought, well, I'm going to become a nutritionist. I don't
Mm.
need to do anything else. So I came back to Australia, went to Deakin University, did my dietetics. And at the end of it all, I went, oh, this is BS.
Yeah.
My low fat,
Yeah.
breakfast cereals, ultra processed foods, fried in vegetable oils. This is the 80s. This
Yeah,
was the beginning
right.
of dietary guidelines. 1982 in Australia was the beginning of the dietary guidelines. And I went, BS, thought, I can't be a dietitian. I'll go be a chiropractor. So I went back to university, did 2 years of human anatomy, histology, pathology, embryology, cut up cadavers, did the lot, and went, you know what? The human body hasn't changed. It has the ingredients that it needs. It is an innate intelligence. And in order to be the best it can be, it has to have the right ingredients. And so I called myself a nutritionist with my degree, and I went out there and changed people from breakfast cereals, plastic cheese, white bread, ultra processed foods, modified milks to real food.
Love
And
it.
there were miracles happening,
Mm.
absolute miracles happening. But then I've come 45 years on, and I can't do that anymore because the kids are so sick, the adults are so sick that it's not just about real foods anymore. I have to put them on almost a medical diet, a diet that is so extreme until they get well to move them back onto a real food diet. So
Interesting.
yeah, so it was that philosophy of vitalism and my love of cultural anthropology. And doing 2 months out in the wild, I went and lived out in the wild for 2 months and realized exactly what the human body needed. And that's what I've been doing for 45 years
I
is
love it.
is teaching exactly the same thing. I have not changed. And I got to tell you, in 45 years, there's not much I've got wrong.
Mm. There's so much to unpack in all that. I was just making notes as you were talking. So just we can circle to you spoke about fundamentals.
Mm.
What are those fundamentals you're talking about?
So let's think that we are hunter-gatherers in a modern world.
Yep.
So how did the hunter-gatherer live? So they lived outside most of the time. They had a lot of sunshine.
Hmm.
So sun's important, even though we've been told it's bad for us.
That's true.
Yeah. Their night light was a red light. It was fire. So we started using fire as Homo habilis back around 1.2 to 1.6 million years ago. We started to use fire not only for comfort, but for cooking. And that turned Homo habilis from Homo habilis to Homo erectus to Homo sapien. So it
Hmm.
was fire that made us human. And there's a really good book on that called Catching Fire by Rangahan. He's incredible. I got to interview him after he released his book, and his theory is, I believe it makes sense, and more people are believing that fire made us human because we were able to use it for comfort, and then we were able to use it to cook and get more calories out of our food. Therefore, less time eating and more time doing other things. So, what was your question now?
The
I went off.
fundamentals.
Oh, the fundamentals. So we think about those fundamentals. So night light was red,
Yep.
firelight. We had the moon. In the morning, we woke with the sun. We watched it rise. That was a real, and when you look at the science behind this now, there's that circadian rhythm that we need. Melatonin is produced as the sun goes down at 2 p.m. It's or 2 a.m. It's at its strongest. And then as the sun comes up, it stops being produced. And it's produced from tryptophan. And
Hmm.
tryptophan is produced by our biome. About 90% is produced by the microbiome, and you can consume it as well, but a lot is produced by the microbiome. So if your microbiome is not doing well and you're not consuming amino acids in a good form, like proteins in a good form, then you're not going to be able to make melatonin. You're not going to be able to create serotonin because what happens is it goes from tryptophan to serotonin to melatonin. So then serotonin doesn't calm you down. You're anxious and you're hypervigilant and you got too much dopamine in you. And it's just mind blowing when you see this incredible innate intelligence of the body. So sun,
Yep.
an important factor. And I've just given you a minor bit of it, a minor bit of it. Good clean water was a part of our life. But do you know that your body, when you eat good foods and ground, so put your feet on the sand or the grass or the dirt or a rock or even concrete will allow this to happen. You have this iron transfer from planet Earth to you, which feeds your mitochondria, which then gives you energy, ATP, we call it. But the byproduct, as you know, man calls it, is low deuterium water. So you hydrate yourself if you eat the right foods and you do the right thing by yourself. So we have this obsession with drinking liters and liters of water, but in actual fact, our body makes the best water for us, low deuterium. You still have to drink water, but not like we've been told because
Yeah.
we've been taught different things.
We
And
have.
it produces carbon dioxide, which makes us breathe. So
Yeah.
the carbon dioxide increases. We have to take a breath. Breath is important. If you look through all the cultures, you see the importance of breath. So I believe that, like if you have a look at our ancestors, they all did breath work. And if you have a look at the American Indians, if their baby was breathing with their mouth, they would close the mouth.
Hmm.
They close it. So if you look back at these cultures and what they did, they had this innate knowledge how to do it. Food, what did we eat? So let's say we're living in Ushuaia in South America, where the Yamanans were the tribe. They wore no clothes. It was between 5 and 10 degrees Celsius. They ate only bird life, fish, seals, blubber, They lived in boats. There weren't many plants. In the summer, the berries came out, a beautiful berry came out. But apart from that, they ate a lot of meat. But if I take you to the Catawbas of Papua New Guinea, who live on the equator in the tropics, they eat fish, coconut, yams, um, bananas, mangoes, sweet, like anything that is a carbohydrate, they eat because that's what's available to them. So you call these people locavores. They eat what's available to them. If the Catawbas migrate, then they have to migrate and eat the foods that are available to them because they didn't have fridges and planes and preservation the way we have it. They had fermentation, definitely, for preservation, and they had drying methods that they use. But think about it. We try and be a vegan or a carnivore or a keto or a this or a that. Remember,
Yeah,
sometimes these are medical diets, but we try to do this we try to be a vegan in Melbourne. Like, why would you do that?
that's
It's
true.
cold. It's cold.
Yeah.
You can't be a vegan in Melbourne. You have to have concentrated nutrition to survive a winter with no sun.
Hmm.
So that's why, like, to me, it all made sense, this cultural anthropology and anthropology. And so I'm a locavore. I have a farm. I grow my own food. I eat what's in season at the time of what I'm eating. I only eat cattle. That's a terrible thing to say, but I do. I eat cattle. I eat lamb in my local area. I only eat eggs from my farm.
Hmm.
So I only eat from my local area. And you don't have to have a farm to do that. You go to your farmer's market and you support the local farmers.
Exactly.
That's it. And they know like the eggs will be different in the winter than they are in the summer
That is true.
because your body is innately knows where you are in latitude, longitude, and altitude. And if you try and trick it and eat a mango in the winter in Melbourne, then you're a nutcase. That's all I can
Hey,
say.
I was eating mangoes in winter when I lived in Melbourne, but
So I very much go by the ingredients. So that's another one. Other things that we lived in tribes. We were connected.
Mm,
Family groups as well as other relationship groups. We were not isolated on a screen. We lived in tribes. So there was this connection with that. The sleeping. We probably went to bed soon after the firelight went. But you know what's really interesting, and I love this, is that tribes were protected throughout the night. So the teenagers stayed up late and the old people got up early. And the babies would wake during the middle of the night, so there was this way that through our age groups, we change. We
hmm.
change our circadian, we change our lifestyle, we change everything. And that was the way it was, that was a protection of the tribe. So when a teenager's staying up late, that's what they were, that was what they did in order to protect the tribe. But these days they're on, devices and not
Hmm.
really protecting the tribe. But
No.
I just show you how there are night people and there are morning people. Just there are those people. They just exist on this planet, and then they will change. What else have I done? I've done grounding, breath, sunshine, food, water, connection with loved ones, connection with spirit. So if you look
Yeah.
at the Australian Aboriginal people, I don't know if you've ever read the book Mutant Messages Down Under. It's one of the most incredible books I ever read about the incredible, like I can't stop saying it. To me, the Australian Aboriginal culture is mind-blowing. They are masters of illusion. They knew how to manifest. They knew what spirit was. They were healers like you would not believe, and so on and so on. But one of the things they did do is a ritual to the sun as it rose in the east every morning of their life. And it was a gratitude and a manifest because they didn't carry food. They waited for the animals and plants to get in and water to get in their way, and they thanked them for getting in their way and losing their life so they could live another day. So cultures always honored the sun. And if you have a look at the great monuments and standing stones that are on energy grids around the world, they have all got to do with the stars and the moon and the
Yep.
sun. So we worshipped these things as, as a spiritual thing. And remember, the constellations were very much a part of their spiritual life and a part of everything that they did. So I think connection with spirit is also really important, and a belief that there's something out there that's beyond this life. So,
Yeah, like what Cindy Roberts was talking about at the
oh God, I
festival. How
loved
good was that? Because what you spoke about was pretty much what she spoke about for like half an hour, an hour on stage with Dale. It was unbelievable.
I was mesmerized by that woman.
So was I.
I could not take my eyes off her. It's almost like I fell in love with her. I don't know how I can explain it. I had an encounter with an incredible young man called Nathane, and I'm going to say his name, Nathane Graham. And it was on a plane, and I felt like he transported me. It was a 5 hour plane flight, and we were sitting next to each other, and we started to talk, and I felt like he transported me somewhere. I don't know where.
hmm
But we had landed, people were getting off the plane, and I was still there with him.
That's wild.
It was wild. And
I
that's
know.
what I felt like with her. Um,
Same. Because when she was
yeah.
speaking, I just had the goosebumps and like I was talking with obviously the people around me, but then like we all just like stopped and like there was moments, no offense, but there was moments when you were on the stage, we sort of like were talking a bit. But then when she got on there, it was like stone cold silence for like an hour.
Yeah.
She was unreal. She was channeling something special on that land because she just went walkabout. I got there early with my buddy Dale, and she got there and she just went walkabout on the land, up the mountain and stuff. We didn't see her until she got on stage. Like Dale went looking for her an hour before they were ready to go on. Yeah,
I went looking for her after and I
did you
couldn't
find her?
find her. And
No.
I've asked if I can make contact with her and she's given me her number. So I'm pretty happy. I would really love her to come on and do like some sort of speaking at my on my farm. And
Yeah,
just all I want to do is just create an event for her. And I'm sure the whole of Mullaney would come. They would
I'd be there
absolutely,
too.
yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. I just thought she was amazing. And my
Mm.
farm, I've got an energy place on my farm that energy
Oh,
workers have said it's around 9-10%. And it's
really?
100-plus-year-old fig tree.
Oh,
It's like the
wow.
divining rods, just the guy that came just took the divining rods and he said, that's your energy center for your
That
farm.
is
I think putting
incredible.
her there, it's gubby gubby, it's gubby gubby that
Mm.
and she would say that, but I just putting her there would be, I think,
Mm.
mesmerizing. So I might be doing that. That might be something I'll be doing,
Just
and
make sure you let me know when that's happening, and I'll
I
be there
will.
too. I reckon, yeah.
I will.
Anyway, back on to
Back
like
on
we've gone on a
track.
massive tangent. Like Cindy Roberts, if anyone just wants to Google her, or I don't know, we'll find her somewhere. Cindy Roberts is awesome, and yeah, I want her on this show too. So hopefully, through the connection with you now, I can make that happen.
I will give you. I will give
Uh,
you.
just some things you said a little bit ago. I made some notes. So we spoke about the fundamentals. Then you said I felt like this like for a while now about the water and how they're telling us you must have 2 to 4 liters a day. Warmer climate, maybe 3 to 6. It's like, yeah, let's delve into that lie because there's so many lies, and I've always had that feeling that the water is one as well.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of lies. Like it was so funny. I was listening to this program the other day, and they were talking about tastes of water, and that somewhere on the Sunshine Coast was in the top in Australia for taste.
Oh,
Like going, I don't care about taste. I want quality.
yeah.
Is
Why would
there
they say
glyphosate in
taste?
that? Is there chlorine in that? Is there fluoride? Is that? Is there lye in that? Is there
Yeah, what the?
atrazine and paraquat? And no, I don't care about taste. Because I know when water tastes good that there are no chemicals in it. So what are
100%.
the procedures that they have to do to make that water taste good? Like
Huh.
we, the biggest mother of a filter on our home, like we've got a townhouse, a house in town, and then
Yep.
we have our farm place and we have our well. The
Oh, cool.
water is incredible.
I
We
bet.
have springs, we have creeks that run from springs, and then we also catch water on our roofs and put it into tanks as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So, okay, so let's go to water. So, yes, the
Yeah.
body needs low deuterium water, and low deuterium water is a better way of hydrating yourself. And low deuterium water is usually found in mountain streams, high up, more so than by the ocean. And while your body makes it. And then if you go hiking and you find an ocean, like a mountain stream, then you're getting more of that low deuterium water. So we are able to hydrate our body. The thing is that water is also important. And I always used to say, well, there's nothing wrong with the water that comes out of foods that are high in water, such as
That's
fruits
true.
and vegetables. They're high in water as well. Can we add that to our water that we're drinking, not only the water that we're making? Now, remember, you will only make low deuterium water when you're in a state of ketosis, more so
Ah,
than when you've got glucose. So that different substrate that's coming into the mitochondria, which is usually in that state of ketosis, which is a fat, will make ketones that will help you then use that water efficiently. So let's look at why is ketosis becoming, or being in ketosis becoming such a big thing at the moment, because that will help you with the whole water thing as well. So the dietary guidelines said that we had to take 11 serves of carbohydrates, like, well, I can't even remember, like a tiny little bit of fat, and a bit of protein, and lots of grains and a few fruits and
yep.
veggies, and like that was the dietary guidelines. And so everyone started to eat carbohydrates. When you eat carbohydrates, because that's what usually comes out in the summer, what happens is that your body goes into a state of insulin resistance, but not chronic insulin resistance, acute, which means that your body will store fat. And it stores fat because it sees this as a time of plenty. And so let's, with this time of plenty, put fat on ourselves. So you're using glucose because you're using more carbohydrates. And if you're eating any animal foods, that would have been high in saturated fats, because saturated fats with carbohydrates will cause that insulin resistance, that acute insulin resistance to put weight on you in the summer. Then what happens in the hunter-gatherer is that summer will finish and autumn will come and winter will come. And if it's a harsh winter, then you may not have any carbohydrates around you. You may have to chase the animals. And what's interesting is when you're in a state of ketosis, you're in a state of energy. When you're in a state of with carbohydrates, you're in a state of, I'm just going to sit under this tree and eat as many pieces of fruit that I can possibly eat.
That's true. Yeah.
It's survival.
Yeah.
When you eat carbohydrates, serotonin is produced. When you eat proteins, dopamine is produced. So you, in a modern hunter, a hunter-gatherer, an old hunter-gatherer, winter would come. There was no grocery stores to get your carbohydrates from. You had to chase the animals, chase them down, eat them. You would go into a state of either lack of calories, no food, because maybe the animals had gone and you didn't get them in time, no food. And so your body would have to use the supplies that you put down in the summer with the carbohydrates in order to burn the fat, to turn them into ketones, to fuel your brain and body until a time of plenty comes again. So it was something we did. We put weight on, we take it off. About 5 kilos, nothing 100 kilos down. No, it was 5 kilos up, maybe 5 kilos down, with an extreme of 10 kilos. So it was up in the summer, down in the winter. If in the summer you had come across some heavy metals, something that wasn't right for you, we're still the hunter-gatherer times, because heavy metals came out of volcanoes. They were in our food supply. They were everywhere. Our body knew what to do with them. So they may put them into the bones if it's lead. They may put it into fat cells. They may put it anywhere so that when you lost that weight in the winter, then it would expel those toxins because it couldn't deal with it in the summer. So it would deal with it in the winter. So you had this incredible yearly clean out, up, down, beautiful cycle in life. Now, you go to the
Mm,
grocery store, you eat carbohydrates 24/7,
that's true.
365 days of the year, all your life, and you wonder why you've got insulin resistance, which is chronic insulin resistance. It's like madness. Like, yeah, I do. I say it's madness. So, what I do is that I go with the cycles of life. What's available on my farm, I eat. Or in my local market, by my local farmer, I eat. And when it's not available, I don't eat it. And I do travel. I love to travel. So I've been in Africa. And so I eat what the Africans eat.
Mm.
If I was in the desert region, they eat milk and meat. If I'm in the tropical region, which I was where the gorillas were, then there's a lot of yams and there's bananas and there's every tropical fruit that you could ever want. So
Mm.
I just tried to eat what was locally available. It's not always possible when you're in a international hotel that wants to feed you, I don't know, some other food, but my body can cope with that. But when it comes to your life, if you can be a locavore. That's what it is. It's not vegan, not carnivore, not keto, be a locavore. But if you're in a medical condition, such as seizures, such as epilepsy, such as a brain tumor, these are all happening in increasing amounts, autoimmune disease, then I need to
Jeez.
look at you
Mm.
and then look at a medical diet as opposed to just a healthy diet. And that's what I love is that whole thing on ketosis. We did it rhythmically, and it probably reset the brain. It cleaned out toxins. Um, Natasha Campbell McBride, beautiful Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, who wrote the book GAPS, Gut and Psychology Syndrome, believes that the seizure was the way the brain was trying to clean out toxins. So we would have done that anyway in the winter through when we were in ketosis, and she believes the only time you can clean those toxins out is through ketosis, because you're using up the fat cells and you're cleaning out everything. Like I said, the body is an innate intelligence. Give it the right ingredients, understand the right ingredients, and that's why I educate with my Nutrition Academy. And the first two modules are on anthropology, cultural anthropology, and vitalism. So when you have these two philosophies, you can't be fooled by someone coming in and saying, this is what you should be doing. And you live in Ushuaia in South America. You should be a vegan in Ushuaia. It's just, so you can't be fooled by this. You will have a beautiful basis of understanding science. So when I had this philosophy, and I've had it for 45 years, of my vitalism I've had for, 65 years. My dad brought us up like that. When I look at a heading and it says margarine prevents heart disease, butter will kill you, I just go, oh, I don't even need to read that study. That's just stupid. And I do. That's what I would do. That is just pathetic.
Mm. Mm.
Because margarine is a mechanistic food made in like a chemical laboratory. It's an industrial food. It doesn't taste like butter. It's got to have a flavor. That's a whole new topic. I could spend an hour on flavors. Anything with flavor added to it, even if it says natural, you're being fooled by the food industry.
100% you are.
Anyway, so it's a totally mechanistic food. What's butter? Well, it's cream from the cow if we were herders, and if you look at the Kugirs of Premier, who live at 14,000 feet above sea level, the yak is their animal. They do not want to kill that yak because they've got dairy that they require in order to survive. And then in the summer, they get rhubarb and spring onions. So like I love looking at cultures. I love looking at what they eat and what's growing and how they prepare it and it makes sense to me. It just makes sense.
Mm.
So yeah, so it's about when you see that margarine versus butter thing and just put those two philosophies in, you just go, well, I don't even have to read that study. That's just BS. And the whole low fat thing.
Yep.
When you see, oh, eating percentage of ultra processed foods will make you healthier, I go, no, not.
Yep. There's so many like bullshit bogus stuff. Like you can talk about this. This could be a podcast in itself, but we're just touching on a lot of things. We'll have to circle back and touch on like a couple of things. I'll make you a regular guest, considering you only live like 20 minutes away.
We're in the same time zone. That's a
We
good,
are. That's a great
yeah,
thing, and you're only just
yeah,
20 minutes up the road, in Mullaney. So there you go.
yeah.
Uh, oh, it's just a few things you've touched on here. So a lot of people out there, the influencers out there, will say, plain water doesn't hydrate you, which is true. What I've been adding salt to my water. Is that a good thing, bad thing? Celtic
Okay.
salt? Yeah. Or what's the
So
go?
you
Because a
think
lot of people
about
add salt. Yeah.
you're a hunter-gatherer.
Okay.
Where do you get your water from?
Get my water from a filter.
So as a hunter-gatherer, There's no taps, there's no nothing. Where would you get your water from?
I would go to the spring.
Spring
Yeah.
or a creek where the
Oh,
water is
yeah.
running over rocks that have got
Yeah.
minerals in them, energizing it, changing its structure. This is nature changes the structure of water, changes everything. That's where you would get your water from.
Mm.
It would have had minerals in it. And salt was a commodity for thousands of years. Salt has been a commodity and traded. So I'm very much, I salt my water every morning. So every
Yeah.
morning when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is I do drink water with salt in it.
Yeah,
I
good.
also swim every morning. And if it hasn't been raining, I will drink the salt water
Yeah.
in the ocean. I will drink that.
I drink
Um,
that too.
yeah. But I only do it if it's not been raining because
Same.
we have too many people that don't know how to look after their land, use
That is
chemicals,
true.
and it goes into our waterways.
Yeah.
So when I know when I can drink it, and lately I haven't been able to drink it very much because we've had so much rain.
Same, yeah. I
Yeah,
drink it
then
a
I'll
lot in
go to my
winter.
spring. I'll
I'll
go to
drink it in winter when it's clear.
yes, it's perfect.
Oh, and then I'll, yeah. People look at me and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, mate, this water is like, we were
It's the
drinking this
best.
like 400 years ago, so I'm fucking drinking it.
Yep, exactly. When I was in the Antarctic, I had a container and we would go out in small boats. I'd fill the container and that's what I would drink for my mineralization in the
That's
morning.
unreal.
Like that was the way I just added that to my water and I would drink that because we need salt. That
We
is a
do.
definite. So here's another fallacy.
Yes, the
Salt.
table salt. Yeah.
Like, like yes, white salt that's refined. They take all the minerals out, put it in a mineral tablet, give you white salt, and then sell the mineral
Of
tablet to
course it's
you.
bad for you. And that's why they
Yeah,
demonize salts. And then people will say, oh, salt's bad for you. It's no, it's the salt they sell you at your local supermarket that's bad for you. You go and get real salt. The real salt's what's good for us. It's just a, yeah.
yeah. Cook your potatoes. If you live near the ocean, go and get your pot of water, put your potatoes in there, cook your potatoes in the seawater. It's beautiful. It's the perfect
Oh,
salt.
thanks for the tip. There's so many things like, and then I'm just going to rapid fire questions at you, I think, because I've got a lot here that I've written down of things you've spoken about. So the young people today, yeah, it's an interesting sort of field here, but a lot of them track their calories and they track this and they track that. What do you make of that? I'm sure you've come across it. Like they'll go, "Oh, I'm carb loading today," or "I'm tracking this and I can't have this because then it's got too much calories in it." Like, what do you make of that too in your 45 years? Because that seems to be a thing now.
So when I went to university, I learnt about a calorie. And a calorie is done by a metal disc, and they put the food in it, they burn it, and they see how much energy it releases. And then what they do is they put these things called Atwater factors on it, which is human.
Yeah.
They were invented in 1890 something. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed.
Yeah.
A calorie is not a calorie. So let's say you have to eat 2,000 calories a day, and I have to eat 2,000 calories a day, and I feed you Mars bars, lollies, candy, and I
This
feed
is it.
myself meat and veggies. 2,000 calories. Both of us are eating 2,000 calories. If you're just calorie counting and that's all you're doing, I'm eating meat and veg, you're eating candies, Mars bars, and whatever. What are we going to be like in a year? You're going to be as fat and sick and nearly dead as possible. I'm going to be trim, slim, energetic, muscular, the whole lot.
So
So
true.
a calorie is not a calorie. Energy to me is I like, yeah, don't get me started on calories. I write about that in my book, and I wrote about that in 1990.
Yeah.
I was a columnist for the Sunshine Coast Daily, and I wrote
Ah,
an article on calories and told people exactly that. So calories is mechanism in nutrition. So I teach vitalistic nutrition. I don't teach you to count your carbs, your proteins, your fats, your calories, your vitamins, your minerals. I tell you to go out and find the best quality food that you can buy, eat it to your heart's content.
mm,
So if I sit down to a steak with vegetables, let's just say, or an omelette, there's going to be a point where I've gone, I've had enough.
that's
But
true.
because I have fulfilled my nutritional needs.
Yeah.
I haven't got a disease that cattle get, which is called pica. So pica is when the cattle start eating the fence posts. You know what the farmer knows? When they start eating fence posts and rocks, put a salt block out, get their minerals right, they'll stop eating them.
That's true.
Humans, they'll go and eat chips and candy and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
piker to me. They'll go out and eat that, get no nutrition, want more and more.
Yes,
More.
overeating.
Yeah, it's they'll overeat because their body's going, hang on, I need minerals, I need vitamins, I need fats. You're not giving me the right ones, so I'm going to
Ah,
ask you to keep eating. And so you have this stop, you don't have a stopgap. Whereas when you eat real foods, you have a stopgap.
yeah, your body tells you.
Don't have an eating disorder. You will not, an eating disorder is a complex, so I'm not going to go there. But if this is how you bring your children up, then they will have a stopgap. Their body will know what to do. They're getting the nutrition that they need. They won't get the disease of pica and go out and eat chips and chocolate instead of sticks and rocks. Like I just love the farmer knows to put a salt block out, but the parent doesn't.
That's true.
Get minerals in.
Mm.
And salt gives us those minerals, but it has to be a good quality salt. And I'm very much more a land-based salt now than a sea-based salt, which is sad. But there's
Okay.
many microplastics, and I've been on salt. I've just been in where was it? Kenya, and I flew over a salt plain where they collect salt, and there is plastic everywhere.
Really?
Yep. I was in Africa on the Skeleton Coast, went on a salt plain where they drive for the
Okay.
salt. Yeah.
So
So
what salt do you recommend now? I'm just going to write this down.
Himalayan, Peruvian, um,
Okay.
Atacama, if you can get Atacama salt, that
Right.
I'm trying to source Atacama salt, but they take the Atacama salt because it's really high in iodine, extract the iodine, and then sell it off for
So
iodine.
what was that salt? The last one we're trying to get?
Atacama. It's Chilean,
Right.
Chilean salt. Atacama, Atacama. It's a desert.
Literally how I
It's
spelt
a
it. Good.
salt desert. Yeah, that's where like I do Himalayan, and then people go, "Oh, it's got lead in it." Well, remember the human body knows what to do with these.
Exactly.
Knows what to do with mercury and lead and cadmium and aluminium.
But it's in our teeth fillings though. People say it shouldn't be in our teeth fillings though, the mercury. It's just
That's
fucking
but
oof.
no, that's not from the earth.
No, that's
That's
manufactured.
methyl mercury, or I don't even know what that one
The
is, but
toxic
yeah,
one, yeah. But that's
the
the thing though,
toxic.
like there's man-made and there's nature-made. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's
And if there's a bit of lead or cadmium in my food that's grown regeneratively because, that's what it does, then I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with that salt because I know my body knows what to do with it.
that's exactly right.
We had volcano eruptions that spewed out all these heavy metals. We would have had to deal with them. So
Hmm.
our body has been evolved to deal with them. It's just when we do mercury or thimerosal or aluminium as an adjuvant in vaccines or a preservative. The thimerosal is the preservative in the vaccine, and you inject it into the human body. We didn't inject that stuff into our body. We ate it, and our microbiome and our body dealt with it. So
Correct.
I'm
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's people just say, oh, it's mercury. No,
So
no.
we've got a lot. Yeah, I've written a bit more down. So next, we'll go with okay. So a lot of people will do cleanses and they'll fast and they'll do all these things. What? So like, I fast myself. I'm just going to say it. I do 16/8 usually. Sometimes I'll do a 3 day fast. Really want to do a 7 day one. Like, do you recommend? Is that a good thing for us to be doing? What's the go?
I think in this day and age, yes.
I think so
We,
too.
we are not living in a clean, pure environment where we put weight on, take it off, detox, put weight on, take it off, detox.
Yeah.
We did it cyclically. We don't do that these days. So, in my way of thinking, I love fasting.
Mm.
I'm a broth faster. I will do,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I will just do broth for
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 days. I've done my longest broth fast has probably been a week. And that's when I told you I had to go on the antibiotics. And I'm in a hospital in emergency. And
Oh,
and then I get put into a ward, and I'm not allowed out until my C-reactive protein comes right down. I have a severe infection, so they bring the food to me, and I go,
I'm not eating
"No, I'm
that
not eating
shit.
that shit." So every day, this is what I did. I took that one lot of antibiotics, and then my doctor just kept saying, "I can't believe how fast your C-reactive proteins come down."
Far
And
out.
let's just see what happens tomorrow. And that was it. Then I fasted every day. if I could walk, I would go out and I did the best I could. I'd go out and sit in the sun and I would just sit
Yeah.
in that sun.
Love
And then
that.
every day I would walk in nature. I found a forest or something that I could walk in. It was a great place to be in. It was a little small hospital and it was easy. So I would go for walks in the forest. I would ground my feet. Um, I would just be absent the whole time. I
I'll be the
knew
only
that.
one doing it, I reckon.
Well, like, and I got to tell you, the nurse at the end of the 6 days, he says to me, "We need to do a study on what you've just done." Like, hello,
Study, just
this is
fucking
just normal. Just
yeah.
fast, and I broth fasted, sunshine, ground, and if you're in an emergency situation, do what your doctor says. That's what I had
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just yeah. And then so people will cleanse too, cleansers. Like there's like parasite cleansers and
I
liver
think they're
cleansers.
great.
Yeah, good.
But
Yep.
remember, you want to change your environment. So your parasite's in there because of your environment. So when you do a parasite cleanse, you're not only getting rid of the parasites, but you're also changing your environment. But you're a loony, and I'm sorry to say this, but you're a loony if then you go back to your old ways, because then you're going to put the environment back into the body that you've just changed,
Huh.
that you had before.
And the
Those
parasites are back.
parasites are going to come
Come
back.
back. Yeah.
They'll just
Okay.
come back.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's like I do a protocol. It's called the fat loss protocol. It's one of my biggest protocols that I did that changed my life.
Hmm.
And then I introduced it to everybody. And it's like the winter of the hunter-gatherer. It's about lowering your calories, don't eat any fat, use your fat cells to detox, you're detoxing. So I do this one. And I would do it every second year. Some people need to do it yearly until they get through all the toxicity that they've got. So there's many ways to do this. But I think the most important way to do it is that you have to go into ketosis.
Right.
You have and then you have to lower the amount of food that you're consuming, which is what we did in the winter of the hunter-gatherer. You lower the consumption of food that you're doing, so fasting or less food. And remember, only foods that are in season. Lower what you're eating, and then what you end up doing is that you start using your fat cells. Your fat cells is where your body stores toxins.
Yeah, it is.
So you may have toxins sitting in your fat cells for years and years and years that are causing migraines.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you get rid of that whatever that toxin is, whether it's glyphosate's water soluble, it wouldn't be that. It could be DDT. It could be any of the fat soluble chemicals that are out there. It could be a fat soluble medication that you took that is creating havoc with your hormones. If you're a female with migraines, like when you get rid of those fat cells, you have to get rid of the fat cells because that's what's holding your toxicity, and that's why we fast. So there's many ways to do this. You don't have to just drink water. You don't have to just do broths. You can just lower the amount of food you're eating. You can just eat meat, but little amounts because what happens when you eat meat, too much meat, it turns into gluconeogenesis, which produces glucose, which then feeds your body glucose, not ketones. So you cannot eat copious amounts of meat if you are fasting, but you can eat like 100 to 120 grams twice a day. That's lowering the amount of food and that you're taking in. No fat, just the protein. Just say it's a lean animal, and then your fat cells will start to fill the gap, and your fat cells will fill the gap to 2,000 calories, most usually, which is about 2.2 grams. So
Yeah.
you will, on average, lose 2.2 grams. If you lose more, you're losing water weight, inflammation.
Hmm.
You're inflamed. So if in a week you lose 5 kilos when you fast, you've lost water weight because you've just deflamed your body, and you'll
Which is a good
probably
thing.
the brain will work. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I feel like a lot of the weight is toxins, but it's also just water weight because the body's not functioning properly. The water's not doing what it needs to do.
yeah. So when somebody's on a diet and they go out and they break their diet and they have alcohol or they do something like that, and then they get on the scales and they've gained 2 kilos, they go, "Oh, it's not working." No, it's the body working. You have just inflamed the body. It's holding water to protect you.
Yeah, it's
If you
always
just,
working for us.
it's
Yeah.
working for us, not against us. So if you just go, okay, for the next 24 hours, I'm just going to do broth. You watch, 2 kilos will be gone overnight. You've deflamed the body.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. People who go on diets and weigh themselves like every day and they go up and down
Mhm.
like a yo-yo,
Mm-hmm.
it will depend on inflammation, not fat. The fat will go at approximately 2.2 grams a day. But sometimes
Interesting.
you will have fat that will not go because it's so toxic that if it goes, it'll make you sick and you'll have a healing expression. And that might be the most massive migraine of your life. And then when you get over it, you never have another migraine again. It's mind blowing how it works.
Mm.
But most people get that migraine and go, oh, I'll take Panadol, I'll do
Yeah.
whatever it takes to stop it. You don't stop it. But you have to, like, in my way of thinking, you got to do this in bits and pieces like the hunter-gatherer did it. They did it over the winter. They didn't do it, like I'm very much in tune with what's happening with my body and how it works with nature. And so if I do go on a bit of a cleanse, it will be for a period of time. And I won't like veganism is a cleanse. It's not a lifetime thing. There is no culture in the world that is vegan.
I
Not
agree.
and after like some people can survive as vegetarians if they live in the tropics up that way, they do really, really well. But I don't know of many vegans and vegetarians that do well in Ushuaia or Tasmania.
Mm.
They do it. They will persist and do it. Daniel Vitalis is a beautiful example. He went vegan in Massachusetts, and 6 years he kept thinking, oh, I must have to take something more out. I'll just keep taking food out. And then one day he went, oh, maybe it's about putting food back in. And so he started to eat meat. Now he's what he's called a wilder. He will not eat anything unless he has caught it, water included.
Interesting.
He's amazing. If you can get him on an
I
interview.
have to search him up. What's his name?
Daniel Vitalis, I interviewed him. He had just broken his vegan lifestyle and we talked about it. And that was, oh my gosh, 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
He's now very famous on television in the US. He's got this incredible show, How to Be a Wilder, like
How
he's
to be a
amazing.
wilder.
Yeah, look, I've probably got the wrong sh name of the show, but that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you look him up, you'll find his show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just like there's so much like because people say, oh no, we're all vegan back in the day and stuff. Well, no, well hunters and gatherers were eating boar and bloody
Yeah. We
yeah.
were vegan 3.5 million years ago as why can't I think of it? It's not coming. Anyway, before we became Homo, when we split, we were definitely vegan, but that was 3.5 million years ago.
Okay.
We were plant eaters.
Yeah. That's what they say. They say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say. And then we
That's their argument.
evolved as Homo and that was when we used tools and we were scavengers, they say,
Mm.
at first, and then we became hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been to Olduvai Gorge, um, which is called the cradle of humanity. It's where they saw the change from Homo habilis to Homo erectus. But Homo habilis disappeared for 400,000 years because the Earth's, yeah, don't you find this amazing? This long ago, 1.2 million years ago, the climate changed naturally.
Naturally, not man-made
Naturally, not
climate change.
man-made.
Yeah.
So Homo habilis moved from 0 degrees, which is the equator, up through Africa, in what now is the Suez Canal, into Asia and Europe
Mm.
to 30 degrees. And it was there that their diet changed, fire, and all that beautiful stuff started to happen. And then, do you know, 800,000 years, at 800,000 years ago, from 1.2 to 800,000 years ago, they moved back because the environment changed back into the equator, back to the equator, to the Olduvai Gorge. And the Olduvai Gorge is where they've got footprints from 3.5 million. Like it gives me goosebumps just to be near those footprints.
That's
Three and a
cool.
half million year old footprints.
Mm.
Yeah, and they've got 16,000-year-old footprints that I was at a lake and I kind of put my foot in it. Um, and then I looked at the guy, and because it's not covered or anything, it's you just go there. And then I looked at the guy and I said, I shouldn't have done that, should I? He said, barefoot's fine, not shoes. I went, okay, good. So, and it was a female, probably same foot size as me.
That's
And
cool.
but I put my foot in the 16,000, like the volcano's right there. It just was just one of those moments in time. Being in Olduvai Gorge is one of those moments in time for me with, like um, just the memories of anthropology and what I learned at the University of Colorado. It was just incredible. And and I think it really brings me home to that I've done the right thing, looking at our cultures and our anthropology and how we migrated and what foods changed for us and how our microbiome changed. And we see glimpses of these in populations around the world, such as the Hadsas, the Himbas, the Catawbas, the Latdani, the Lani, the Yamanans, which really don't exist anymore. Like these people are still around to give us a glimpse as to what life was like.
Yeah,
And we are evolutionary bodies, not modern bodies,
that
and
is
we have
true.
to live in a modern world, but as knowing what our evolutionary body needs. And if you live your life inside and you eat ultra processed foods,
It's
um,
the majority of people.
sunscreens on,
Yeah.
you watch television or electronics all the time, you have no connection with humans except the way we're doing it right now. I have a heap of humans out there at the moment, but you know, you know, so this is what will make you sick.
That
I
is
will
true.
guarantee sickness if you continue to live like that.
Mm.
Guarantee it.
Mm.
Because
And yeah.
not meant to be, and mentally as well as physically.
Mm.
And I think I'd really like to touch on mental health here.
Yes, I was just about to say, is there anything else you want to share? I
Yeah.
do have one more question before we touch
Yes.
on mental health, though. It just came to me then. In your 45 years of doing this stuff, what's been the most transformative, like, success story, or like, has there been something where someone's come to you and they're like ultra whatever, and you've just like they've transformed themselves, I guess, as the body can heal itself. So, what would be like the most transformative thing that you've seen with someone? And then we'll go to mental health.
I got lots,
I bet.
but remember, this is all about me. So I'm going to give you mine.
Oh, I love it. Go
Okay.
for it.
I think because this is what then changed my thoughts on many things is by doing what I did.
Yep.
So 52 years of age, I've eaten beautifully. I've had the best figure. I have the best skin. I'm energetic. I am healthy. I never get sick. At 52, I start, probably about 50 it starts. I start getting a sore back. I have a chiropractor as a husband. It's an ache. It's just this ache that I can't walk for too long before I have to stretch. I can't stand for too long before I have to stretch. I get a sore right hip, tightness in my throat. I can't grow my hair. My skin is drying out. Um, I'm getting migraines. There's just a bunch of things. They're little whispers that my body is going, you're doing something wrong and you better change or you're going to end up sick, fat, sick, and nearly dead. Oh, I'm putting on weight.
Yeah.
So
All
I'm
right.
slowly putting on this weight. And my husband just says something to me one day and I just about hit him. Um, but I knew that that was happening, but I wasn't going to get on the scales to look at. And I'm eating the same foods that I've always eaten. What is hell is wrong?
Yeah.
So I decided to become a winter of the hunter-gatherer. I eat 2 serves of 100 grams of meat and I do weigh it. No fat on it. I have a few pieces of winter fruit. So I do it in the winter. I have a few pieces of winter fruit and I lower my energy as far as I don't go out and do mad exercise, like go for a run or anything like that. I just lower my energy. And in the first week, I lose 4.5 kilos.
Huh?
I lose my back pain, my hip pain, my throat tightness. By day 10, my brain clicks in. I'm in ketosis. But back then, this is like 15, no one's talking about ketosis back then. I don't know that that's what's happened to me. I just know for the first time in ages, I'm one with the universe. It's like a spiritual awakening. That's what it was for me. Because I'd obviously been dulled down for so long. I'm now in this
That's true.
spiritual awakeness. So day 10, that happens. By the end of 3 weeks, I've lost 9 kilos. I feel incredible. And I go, what the hell just happened? Why? I knew what was happening kind of as far as I had reduced my food consumption, but I wanted to know what was causing it in the first place. So I started to introduce the foods back into the diet. When I introduced bread, everything came back. I gained a kilo overnight. I knew that it wasn't fat because I knew I couldn't put on a kilo of weight and fat. My sore back came back, my sore hip came back, my brain fogged out, and I just went, what's wrong with bread? So this is like we're looking at just 2000 and what are we looking at? 2010 maybe.
Mm.
So I kind of go, I better do some research. So for 2 years, I research what it is about gluten and wheat and why can't I eat it. Like the minute I realized wheat was my problem, I stopped eating it. I didn't eat it anymore. I was making my own breads, my own muffins, my own cakes, my
I
own
was about to
everything.
say you would have been making your own, so that's
I made
interesting.
everything
Yeah,
with
you would have.
organic flour.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I made
Wow.
everything. So then I did research on it. And at the end of 2 years, I said to my husband, this is mind blowing what they've done to our wheat. And after listening to all these people, this just blows my mind. I now know why I was getting sick. And he says, you're going to write another book on it. And I went,
No,
or write a
absolutely.
book. And I said, no, I don't really want to. He says, why don't you do a documentary? I went, that would be fun. So he gave me a budget. And that next year, I remember the Christmas. I sent an email out to everybody, Christmas Eve. And I wanted people like Vandina Shiva, Stephanie Seneff, Pearl Mutter. Like I wanted people that were overseas and that were famous and I had learnt from. So on Christmas Eve, I sent it out. 4 women. Dr. Terry Walls, Vandina Shiva, Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, and Dr. Stephanie Seneff all said yes. So then to the men, I said, oh, by the way, these 4 people have said yes, they're going to be in my documentary. And they all went, yes, 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 yes. So I interviewed them that year of 2015 and then put the documentary out in 2016.
No.
And have tried to educate people about why we're ending up. I would have ended up a very sick person if I didn't realize what was causing these health issues.
Hmm.
Once I realized that you just stop eating the food, I do that protocol every second year because to me it's do it in the winter. It's the winter of the hunter-gatherer. Gain weight, lose a bit of weight, put that weight back on again because I'm happy at the weight I'm at right now. But I get rid of that toxic fat. Um, I look, that was the biggest turnaround. Like we're now 13, 14 years on. I haven't had another migraine since the day. And when I said to you, you get the worst migraine of your life, that was me. 5 days.
Mm.
I haven't had a headache or a migraine since that day. And I was getting
Wow.
monthly for quite a few years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So everyone said, oh, it's menopause, Cyndi. And I went,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, no, it's not menopause. I'm not putting up with that. So yeah, I would say, and then when I told the story to my database and then gave them the protocol, then the stories started to come in. I had one lady lose 80 kilos, changed her life. Another lost 60, became a coach in my program. Another one got pregnant because she couldn't get pregnant. Like there were
Uh-huh.
all these amazing stories because all
Love
of a
that.
sudden they're detoxifying using just a simple protocol. Like
Mm.
I wouldn't call it easy. You got to have discipline, but anything that you get, and is about discipline.
That's true.
But then you've got to learn the lesson.
That is also
You
true.
do- If you do not learn that lesson and you go back if you go back to the what you were doing before you did the protocol and learnt the lesson, then basically you're going to end up back there.
Same for life too.
Nothing's going to change. For things to change, you must change. And
It's,
insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
it's the
So
same
for
in
me,
life.
do it. Yep, exactly. You just got to do it. So from that incredible time for me, and like I'm going out hiking for 5 days, full backpack, 16 kilos with 4 kilos of water, for out into the snowy mountains at 65. And there's not many people that
That's
are
right.
doing that these days.
That's all right. You
Because
text me and said you were doing that.
I think it's old age is the pursuit of comfort.
No.
So I am not doing the pursuit of comfort. I am doing the pursuit of what can I do at the next age and what am I capable of doing. Kilimanjaro is on my bucket
I
list, and
love
so is
that.
Big National Park.
You are an inspiration to all 65 people out there. My dad's
Look,
65 and he can learn a lot from you, Cindy. I'm telling you right now.
I've packed my pack and I put it on and I went, oh my God, that's the heaviest pack I've ever had because it's winter.
Uh,
And it's going to be -8 degrees apparently when I get there.
how good.
So I've had to put all my wet weather gear and all my cold weather gear in there. And I'm like going, oh, I guess I'll be wearing it. What the hell?
You'll be fine. I love that. Yeah, it's just you've been awesome today, Cindy. I appreciate it. So mental health though.
Yes,
You said you wanted to
I
touch
want
on
to talk
there.
about that.
Let's do it.
Um, Mental health is a real issue. Um, but there's a beautiful psychiatrist. And if you ever get a chance to interview her, I would
Another
do.
name I'm
Her
writing
name is
down.
Dr. Georgia Ede, Ede. And at the beginning of the year, she published a book called, and I may get this wrong, and you might want to put this right in the notes,
Yep.
Change Your Food or Diet, Change Your Mind. Bit like my book, Changing Habits, Changing Lives, but hers is Change Your Change Your Food, Change Your Mind. So she's a psychiatrist that had her own health challenges. She believed mental health was a malady that couldn't be cured, and all the drugs that she was giving, were just a stopgap. That was her belief. But she didn't know what else to do. Then she had a health challenge. She went to a ketogenic diet, or a diet that put her into ketosis, because there are many ways to go into ketosis. So she put herself into ketosis and her health improved. And she thought, I wonder if my mental health patients will improve, because we know
Oh,
that it helps seizures and epilepsy. Could it help bipolar and schizophrenia and depression and anxiety? So she got a bunch of her patients and she said, do you want to give this a go? And they all said yes. And the results were dramatic.
no
Now,
way.
remember, mental health is all based on not blood tests, even though they give you a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, but it's really not taken on blood tests. It's just taken on, well, this is what we think it is, and you're showing these mental things or these
Mm-hmm.
symptoms, so we'll assume you've got this.
Yes.
Anyway, so there's no blood test. So she put them on this ketogenic diet, and she said there was like there was almost 100% conversion rate to no more mental health problems off medications and doing fantastic for some of the patients, 75% improvement for others. There was if they didn't stick to the diet, the improvement wasn't there. But if they stuck to staying in a ketogenic state, they did. Now she's doing incredible research. That was the beginning of her research. And I would go look her up, listen to her podcasts. Diary of a CEO. That was the first place I heard about her and listened to her. It's a 2.5 hour interview. Then, of course, I got her book, and then I watched all her YouTube, and I would put her as one of the people that are out there in the psychiatry world making a difference. There's an
Okay.
Australian girl that's doing the same. She's a psychologist, blonde. I'll give you her name. I can't. I saw her.
So
Yeah, I'll give you her name when I find it.
you'll be hiking the mountain and you'll just be like, I found the
Yeah,
name.
yeah. So these people are out there that are changing people's mental health just by looking at their lifestyle. So
Yes.
circadian health is also there. There's an Edinburgh researcher, Ian Campbell, Ian Campbell. He's doing research. He had bipolar himself. He did the ketogenic diet. It fixed him. So he now does research. And there's another doctor that I've been following, but the name escapes me as well. There's
That's
so
all right.
many of these guys out here that are doing amazing things and, really, really changing what's happening. And I think Georgia Eads' book's good because I
Yeah.
love when she says, I thought mental health was a malady that couldn't be cured, and so did all of my peers.
Mm,
That's sad. That
that
is
is.
sad.
Uh,
And the drugs are just, they
well, we
may
know
or may not
well,
work.
we know what they're doing, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're not. The serotonin hypothesis has been disproved.
Yep.
So why anybody's taking SSRI when we know that that has been. I know there's emergency situations, but I have a friend who's an emergency doctor, and he says if somebody brings in, a family brings in one of their family members who's severely depressed, he knows if he gives them an antidepressant, it only gives them the energy to end their life. That's what he
Yes.
said.
Yes.
That's what he said to me. And I went,
Fuck.
yeah, exactly.
I swear on you
I
all
just,
the time, so it's fine, but
oh no,
fuck.
I'm happy for you to swear because I said the same thing.
Yeah.
So we need to approach mental health very differently. And there
Holistic
are some,
approach.
pardon?
Holistic approach. Yeah.
Lifestyle approach. Let's get the
Literally.
fundamentals right. And then if it's still not right, let's look at other things.
Yeah.
But let's do the fundamentals first. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride says 3 months. Do what you're meant to do to get the fundamentals right. If you have not gotten better, let's do testing. Let's find out what else we need to do. If you're improving and the symptoms are going away and everything is looking better and brighter and happier, then you're on the right track. Keep it up.
Do you find it's emotional too? Like we got to like there's fundamentals for I talk about the five pillars of strength, which I might have mentioned to you the other day. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. If
Mhm,
one of those pillars is out of whack, which is usually mental, emotional, there's
mhm,
fundamental and physical too. Actually, they're all out of whack. If
mhm,
you, I find that if we take care of the physical, we get to the gym, we do routines, we change stuff, then you can do mental. It's like an engine in a car. And now what I found with some of the teams that I work with through my coaching is if we get those five pillars of strength all working in unison, they're back online again, and their intuition and all the things that are magical about us start to function better.
mhm.
So the
Well,
physical, water,
think
food, all
about
the
it this
things.
way. Think about it
Yeah,
this way.
go.
When you're not feeling well and you're just as sick as a dog, and
Mm.
all you can do is drag yourself into your bed or you're vomiting, what's your emotional and mental health like? It's
Yep.
not good, is it? You
No,
just want to die. You don't want to be here.
those dark thoughts. Yeah.
You got dark thoughts. It's horrible.
Yep.
So your physical affects your mental.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to give you now how the mental affects the physical.
Go for it.
You've just been told that you're speaking to 1,000 people on stage live in 1 hour. You have to give a 1 hour presentation on, I don't know, any subject you want to like throw on. What happens to your stomach?
You get that knot in the stomach, but for me, I embrace those uncomfortable
Well, you
situations. So if
would,
you're
but
talking to me, I'm like, I'm gonna do it now. But it's like Eddie Joe Blow will be like, they'll get that knot in the stomach though. Yeah.
and the heart rate will go up.
Yep.
Their
Sweat. Sweat.
eyes will dilate. They will sweat. Their
Mm.
stomach will get sick. They'll want to go to the toilet.
Fear.
Fear. So the mental and the emotional affects the physical, and the physical affects emotional. You have
Correct.
to all. You can't just do talk therapy.
No, I know.
You
100%.
got to do, and she says this, Georgia Edie says this, or Ede says this. She says, you can't just do talk therapy. You've got to work on the physical as well. And as my husband always says, if you're feeling bad, move. Just move.
Exactly.
Yep. Just
So
move. Get
simple.
outside. Go out and go for a walk. Go exercise. Go
You've
do
dropped you've dropped a lot of books today. Here's one that I've been reading that's really good.
pen in
Do you
hand.
know Paul Chek?
Yeah.
CHEK? Yeah. How
Yeah.
to Eat, Move, Be Healthy. Awesome place to start for the physical pillar strength.
Yep.
Muscle
Agree.
testing, all the things are in there. Exercises, stretches, physical health pillar. Tick. Read that book.
Agreed.
Mental,
Paul Check's an
mental.
amazing
He is.
person for
He's
young men.
someone that I'm getting on hopefully very soon because I know
Oh,
a lot of people that have worked under him and with him. So connections, hey?
have you got the Corrective Culture Boys on yet?
Not yet. You're the second person to mention them to get them on.
I got their number.
No way. Because
Yeah, I got it.
a mate of mine at the gym does knows them too, and yeah, I think that might be. Yeah, I do want to get them on. So if you can make that happen, I'd be
I'll make
forever
that happen for
grateful.
you.
You're a
I'll
legend.
help. Yeah.
Is there, so to sum up our whole chat, we've been going for an hour and 20 now. So Cyndi, which is great, this will just go up live and I won't edit a thing. So, just going to tell you that now. So to sum all this up, Cyndi, if someone's listening out there and, they might be struggling a bit or their diet or physical health or something's going on, what be that first step, you might have already said might be the fundamentals answer, but what will be the first step for someone to just to empower my audience here?
Well, I would find a good coach,
Yeah, okay,
and you're a coach. So I would find a really good coach that could take you through all of it and find a community
that's
that
a big one.
the big one. Find a community, maybe with the coach, or just find a community that is not the community that's taking drugs and partying and wasting their money and their life and everything like that. Find a community of young people that are going places. You end up with the five people you spend the most amount of time up. That's
It's
what you
true.
end up like. So you choose who you want to spend time with. So a coach is a good place to start, and then their community is a great place to start. So that to me, if a young person is struggling, that's where I would go. I'm not going to tell them to change the diet. I'm not going to tell them to go to the gym. That's up to the coach to do. If they want to educate themselves, then we've already talked about books that are worth educating yourselves on.
They will
But
all be in the show
I
notes.
It'll all be, yeah, with all those will be in the show notes. So go and read those books. Books are a fabulous way to educate yourself to go places and to do things.
Hmm.
If you are at a stage in your life where you want to coach people through nutrition, then I can help you with that. So I have a 12-month education program that's based on anthropology and vitalism. Fun.
Yes.
That is all about nutrition and helping people with their nutrition. So if you're already a PE, you're doing PE, or you're a health professional, or you're somebody that just loves nutrition, then I can educate you. I'm certified internationally to become a functional nutrition consultant.
Hmm.
So come to me with that, and I would assess. I would believe that the essentials is the best one to do if you want to do I don't know when this is going to go up, but if you want to do a course where have an assessor, where you have a teacher, where your hand is held, then you have until January the 1st, 2026 to to do it, and then I'm finishing it. And then
Oh,
you have a year to complete it.
okay.
Because I'm just finding with AI and everything like that, everybody thinks that they can learn on TikTok and things like that. So
That's a whole other podcast, that TikTok
that's another
stuff.
one. So
Yeah.
I'm educating with Q&A now, not with assessment.
Okay.
Some people want to be assessed. You've got a month, like from when we're doing it, you've got a month to do this. Um, and then you have a month to finish it, and then that's finished. But you can do the same course, the exact same course, but with Q&A. And you will still get the same certification. Everything is identical. It's just that sometimes it's nice to have your hand held.
It is. It is. It's very true. Even
Yeah.
whatever age, you're right. Spot
Yeah.
on. Cindy, I
Some
thank
people
you
need
so
their
much
hands
that the
held.
universe brought us together on Saturday, and that
I
my
am
friend
too.
just like said, Nathan, you need to go talk to her. She's about to leave.
I'm glad you did.
And you walked up to my friend and asked if he was a TikTok star dancing on social media. So that's how it all came about.
Do you know what? He and I have had a few messages because he's given me Cindy's number.
Yes, he would have,
And
Dale. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he asked if that was okay. He asked Cindy if that was okay. And he and I were born in the same town. Well, we grew up in the same town, Bendigo.
I grew up in Bendigo too. That's how I
Get
know
out of
Dale.
town.
That's how I know Dale. I moved up here 2 years ago from Bendigo.
Oh my God.
What a way
Francis.
to, yeah, Francis, yeah.
I went to school with a Francis.
Here we go. Which one?
Francis. I went to St. Mary's College, which was Catholic college.
Yeah, that's where all my family went.
Yeah. I bet I knew either your aunt or
We have a
great
lot
aunt.
to talk about off air now that you know most of my family. Yeah, I'm from Bendigo too, so that's how I
Oh
know
my
Dale, and that's part of the reason why I was there on Saturdays. I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, so
Small world.
it is a small world. You're from Bendigo too. Can you believe that?
So Mirren Francis is who I knew.
I think she's like a second cousin of mine.
Love it. Anyway,
That's
yeah,
wild, eh? Wow, Cindy. I didn't know you're from Bendigo. I could not find that anywhere. I went through
yeah.
your website and through your Instagram.
We,
And
we we just don't discuss Bendigo. I was
when
there.
did you move out of that place? When did you move out of there? This is
When
still
I was
live?
19 and went to the University of Colorado in Boulder, and that was it for me. I never
Gone,
went
yeah.
back. My parents lived there 35 years, but
Wow.
I didn't go back. I came up here
Your
and
dad was before his time in Bendigo then.
my gosh, was he ever, and
Yeah.
ridiculed by everybody.
I was ridiculed by everybody when I was down there awakening to all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
What a
the
way to
local
finish the show.
chiropractor. He was the local chiropractor in town. He was in Queen Street. No, he started in what's the mall on? Um,
Hargraves.
Hargrave Street. So he
Yeah.
was the second street out of Hargrave Street, there
Wow.
in McLaren and Mundy,
Yeah.
and then to View Street. He went to View Street, and we had 21 View Street, the old bank. Um,
Yep.
he had that for many years, and that got sold to other chiropractors who were patients of him that became chiropractors because of him. So
That's insane.
yeah, yeah, we figured from that one clinic, and with Mark Postles and my father, David Lovett, um, w- by the time my dad left Bendigo, there were 65 new chiropractors that were because they were patients and went to Melbourne to become chiropractors. That's how many, because of that one clinic. They were inspired by what my dad and Mark Postles did. So yeah.
I love that.
He
Well, there
was,
you go. A couple of
my
Bendigo
dad was
people.
amazing. He really was.
Yeah.
Like, he was so far ahead of his time. And I thank all my blessings that I had him as a father and a mother that was just as accommodating with, our health outcomes as he was. So it was really good. She didn't fight him on it. She just followed and did.
I love
She
that.
was a nurse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I can't believe you're from Bendigo too. How did that not come up on Saturday?
I know. I know.
Comes at the end of this podcast.
I know. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
that is, yeah, 'cause that's how I connected with Dale, who's been messaging you about Cyndi, and yeah, I've been mates with him for years.
Wow.
Yeah,
The
he
other big
was he was the reason, part of the reason how I worked all this stuff. I think I told you a bit about it. Jeffrey Epstein
Oh, well, I
doco into
read
all that stuff. Yeah,
read about you when you reached out. I want to know
yeah.
who I was talking to, and I'm inspired by you too. Well
Oh,
done.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm.
Cyndi, where can people find you? And we'll wrap this up.
Well, with the education, it's the Nutrition Academy. So
Yep.
the nutrition.academy. You can find me on Instagram by my name or the Nutrition Academy.
Oh, yep.
My name is Cyndi O'Meara, Cyndiomear. I'm very controversial. I've been banned from Facebook, and so I'll say things that you may not agree with, but take the stuff that you agree with and throw out the stuff you don't.
That's same as my platform and my stuff too, Cyndi. Same here. So yeah, everything will be in the show notes. All the books she recommended, even the one I recommended, everything that she's recommended, I'll go back and it'll all be in the show notes. So there's plenty of resources out there. You just gotta pick the right one or pick the best one for you. Cyndi, thank you so much for your time and so glad the universe brought us together on Saturday and we've made this happen. And I'm keen to come up your way down to Mullaney there and we'll do an in-person one. I reckon might be really good.
Oh, I've got the most beautiful place to do it under
You've
the
already told me about it.
under the fig tree. We'll do it.
Well, how about we do it in the new year? I'll come up there and over there actually, 20 minutes that way, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you so much, Cyndi, and everyone. I'll talk to you all soon. Plenty more guests in the can. Pete Evans is in there as well, so we'll just drop that one as well. So talk soon. Cheers.